That was good. Hold on, that was behind the back. Ooh, yep. That wasn't very good. Don't mind me. I'm just so fresh and so hot. Happy Christmas, or happy Christmas. Don't trust this man. My name's Steven. I was curious. I wonder how many of you, all 6 of you, know why I call this Don't Trust This Man. So I was thinking it might be fun to do a little story time this week. So here's the story of Don't Trust This Man. This is my origin story. So as I develop my Don't Trust This Man universe, this will be the starting point, the genesis, if you will, for all the other sort of ancillary and tributary? A little more than 3 years ago, my son came to me and said, hey, we should make videos. Let's do videos for the YouTubes. He didn't say it that way. Where you talk about God stuff and I film it. And I was like, yeah, okay. Before then, as we were ramping up production, I was trying to figure out what we should call this thing. And I really liked the idea of Don't Trust This Man because it has actual meaning for me. I used to be a vocational minister. And in my time in ministry across 2 states and 3, well, really many more churches than that, 3 churches I worked at, but then I saw lots of faith communities in my time in ministry. In my time in ministry, I experienced over and over again people who believed things because that's what they had been told to believe. And that always bothered me. I know that when we're babies and toddlers, it's good if our parent or some authority figure says, don't touch that razor blade. We may not have any experience of why that razor blade is harmful, and so we just don't touch it because we're told not to. I get that. As we age, however, we're able to connect the dots and realize that that sharp thing, that hot thing, that fire is painful to touch, and we understand why we sort of believe that or do that thing. I suppose you could draw some corollaries, or you could draw maybe the faith walk is similar in that way. Maybe we go through seasons where we are taught things and we absorb them and we observe behaviors. And I understand that. I want to make room for that. Like Paul would say, we have to perhaps begin with milk. But I believe we owe it to ourselves and to our faith to grow past that. And I believe we should all come into a season in our lives. We should grow into a moment and a time where we believe things, not because someone told us to believe them, but because that might be part of it, but because we've studied and read and prayed and tested and thought and wrestled with the things that we believe. I have heard, and this goes actually before ministry, just all my life, I have heard people say to other people that they should believe things because they were saying them. And that was enough. In essence, they were saying, trust me. And there are times when that's apropos. There are times when that's all we have. And my hope, my prayer for you in your life is that you have people in your life that if they were to say to you, please just trust me, you'd have developed the sort of relationship, or you have developed the sort of relationship where you can just trust them. I have that in my life, I hope. There are people in my life that I say to them, you may not get it, you may not understand, I can't tell you why, please trust me. I hope that's there. But you don't, well, not all of you. All of you don't know me. And so what I would rather say to you, especially if you haven't met me, if you don't know me, is don't trust me. I'm thankful if you listen, and I really want you to think about the things that I say, but don't trust it outright. If you're a person of faith, pray about it. Think about it. If I say something you don't agree with, think about why. If the best you can do is, that's not what I've always heard, that's not good enough. You should grow up a little bit. So I don't genuinely, literally, always mean, don't trust this man. There are times when if you get to know me, or if I begin to earn your trust somehow via this medium, that I would love for you to begin to trust me a bit. But don't just trust me. Engage more. There are these folks in the Bible. I think they're Bereans. They're from Berea. I think it's a story in the book of the Acts of the Apostles, written by Luke. And he talks about these folks. They would go back, they would sort of receive teaching, and they would go home and they would study to see if what they were taught was right. This fascinates me. I love this. I love the idea that both things are happening. There's a sense of, sure, I'll listen and I'll value what you say, but I'm going to check what you say against what other people have said, what's been written before. Again, for folks of faith, against how the Spirit may be leading in your life. It's tricky, isn't it? If you are a Christian and you go to a church, then your pastor wants you to some degree to trust him or her. And I think that insofar as they've proven themselves to be trustworthy, you should trust him or her to that degree. But I don't believe you should ever stop making them earn your trust in a sense. You should never accept what you're told blindly. You should never undiscerningly receive some teaching, including what I'm saying in these 6 or 7 minutes. So that's where "Don't Trust This Man" came from. Don't believe it because I said it. Believe it for better reasons than that. That might be the starting point. Maybe that's it. It's the starting point. There are things. I was in church yesterday, and the pastor said things that I thought, that's an interesting insight. And I thought about it. I chewed on it a bit. And I thought, yeah, in fact, that has application for my life. If there comes a moment, there comes a time when he says something that I go, I'm not sure. I'm not going to dismiss that sense just because he is in that role. I owe it to my faith, and I owe it to myself, and I think we owe it to the world to have a deeper sense of integrity to what we believe. How compelling is it to simply say, you should believe this because I do? Why do you believe it? Because they did. That's weird. That's how cults work. So that's the story of "Don't Trust This Man." We want to make some videos, talk about God stuff, whatever. I want you to listen. Yes. I want you to enjoy what I say, ish. Love for you to share it. Great. But don't trust it. Think about it. Thus concludes story time with "Don't Trust This Man." Don't trust this story. Although I promise that's the truth. Thanks for tuning in. My name's Stephen. Don't trust this man. Please email me your thoughts. Stephen@don'ttrustthisman.net. Find us on all the socials. Tweet us. Facebook, Instagram. Until we're together again, be well.